What's going on, everybody? I'm your host, Ben Ballion, back with another episode of the Sports Pod. And in today's episode, I'm going to talk about the New York Yankees. We're in full force baseball mode. The Knicks are done. It's time to lock in on the Yankees, and they're playing really good ball. They're second in the American League, just behind the Tigers. And I'll get into everything that's going on with the Yankees on the other side of the intro. Hit it.
DiVincenzo at three. Bang! Bang!
At the wall, he jumps. It's gone. He did it. He did it. Pete Alonso with the most memorable home run of his career.
All right, getting into the episode, and I'm just going to start with the lineup. The starting lineup for this Yankees that seems to be changing every single day. This has been a common theme throughout Aaron Boone's tenure with the Yankees, and I'm going to get into Boone more in depth later on in the episode, but it always seems like the Yankees lineup changes every single game. Like if they're playing 7 games in a week, they're going to trot out 4 or 5 different lineups. There cannot just be a set leadoff hitter, second hitter, third hitter, fourth hitter. It's always got to be shuffling it around, and I don't like that whatsoever. I always feel like if a team can get into a routine, they can get chemistry, build off each other. I mean, I remember in 2022, Starling Marte went to Buck Showalter and said, "I don't care where you hit me in the lineup, just keep me there the entire season." Starling Marte ended up hitting second, and he produced, he delivered, and helped the Mets to a 101-win season. This is something that I'm sure Yankees players are used to, as they've been dealing with it since 2017, but I just feel like there's another tier the Yankees can unlock if they figure out what works, and it's still only June. It's June 17th as I'm recording this. It's still early in the season, but once you get into the dog days of summer and once you get into the middle of August, I would like for the Yankees to have one set lineup that they could just bank on having every day. So Aaron Judge is going to be hitting third, right? I think Jason Dominguez is going to be the end game leadoff hitter for this team. He's making his first appearance as the leadoff hitter tonight. He's played well this season. He's hit much better from the left side, I believe. Don't quote me on that. I know he's hitting way better on one side of the plate, but he's also producing from the other. I believe it's the left side that he's hitting a lot better from. I mean, you got Paul Goldschmidt, who has hit leadoff for the majority of the season. He's been the main leadoff guy, so I would expect him to hit either second or fourth, depending on the lineup that Boone wants to trot out there. That's one where it can change a little bit, because Goldie, he can be your on-base guy, but he can also open up and hit for more power. He can drive in some runs. He's a veteran. He's got that clutch gene. It really depends on, do you want the young guy in Ben Rice hitting second in front of Judge, or do you want the veteran in Paul Goldschmidt protecting Aaron Judge so they can't pitch around him and stuff like that? And it's not even a question where teams are pitching around Judge. I mean, Ron Washington completely took Aaron Judge at a Monday's game with the game on the line. He just intentionally walked him. He said, "I'm not going to lose like this." I mean, you got to respect him. Aaron Judge is superhuman. We haven't seen anything like him since Barry Bonds. He's the best hitter in the sport, no questions asked. However, I would say Shohei Ohtani is the better player, just because he has that whole element of pitching. And just a quick sidebar, Ohtani not making any rehab assignments is such a genius move from the Dodgers, as they're saying, hey, we can't lose that bat in our lineup. We need Shohei in there hitting leadoff and DHing every day, so we're going to use him as an opener. We're going to pitch him for an inning. We'll pitch him for 2 innings here, and then once he's fully ready to come back, we'll just expand him. Maybe he'll go 3 innings, and then his next start will go 4 innings, and then 5, 6, 7, however many innings he's going to end up pitching this season. That is such a smart move by the Dodgers, and I think it's now that I thought about it and it's came out for a while, it really is the only move they could have made. It wouldn't have made sense to send him down for a rehab start or 2, but it's just really smart in my opinion. And him coming back on the pitching side, it's going to make life a lot harder for my New York Mets as they try to dethrone the World Series champs this postseason. But getting back to the Yankees, as that is the main topic of this episode. I like Jason Dominguez leading off. I know I mentioned it just a couple minutes ago, I said he's going to be the end game leadoff hitter. Why not start hitting him leadoff in June? I didn't like it when they hit Anthony Volpe leadoff in the middle of May last year, but we are 2.5 months into this season. It's time to give the young kids some trust. It's time to expand that leash, and Dominguez has proved on multiple occasions that he is good enough. He can prove himself in this league. He has proven himself on multiple occasions. He's been clutch and he's gotten on base. That's what the Yankees need out of the leadoff hitter. They need two guys at the top of that order that are going to get on base for their big bopper, Aaron Judge. The other thing with the Yankees lineup, Giancarlo Stanton has returned. He made his first appearance on Monday against the Angels. I think he went 2 for 4. He smacked a double. Him coming back is huge for the Yankees. And honestly, if I was Brian Cashman, if I'm Baron Boone, I don't even want to send him on a rehab assignment. I know they did, but I mean, he's a guy where he's just going to come up here and hit. He doesn't need time for his body to really get reacclimated. He needs to come up here. He's going to be a DH every single day. I don't think he'll take one rep in the outfield this season. He doesn't need that time down in the minors. He could just come up and start smacking. He can come up and start raking. But right now, you don't even need him back. If I was the Yankees and he is not fully ready to play, I would play him maybe 3 times a week. You don't need him that much. You need him once October rolls around, once it's September, and maybe even eventually November if the Yankees get back to where they were last season. But Giancarlo Stanton is going to add another layer of protection, another layer of depth to this Yankees lineup that they haven't really needed, because Trent Grisham has stepped up. Cody Bellinger has been okay. I already mentioned Paul Goldschmidt, who has been really, really good for the Yankees this season. And now moving on to the recovery of what the Yankees recouped from Juan Soto. I mean, Trent Grisham was part of that Juan Soto trade. He's really stepped up. And Soto wasn't playing his A game for the Mets right now. And there was a good chunk of the season, probably for the first month and a half, where Trent Grisham was the better player on paper. I mean, I still think Juan Soto is more impactful. He's drawing his walks. He's getting his extra base hits. He's just not doing it when they have to have it right now. Juan Soto, that is. Trent Grisham was hitting leadoff for the Yankees for a little bit. And every team really does have that player that's going to get hot for a couple weeks. He'll go crazy for a month, but he'll fade to the background. He'll fizzle out eventually. And that's what we're seeing with Trent Grisham right now. I don't think anybody in the Yankees organization expected Trent Grisham to be the player he was at any points in the season. So whatever they got from him was absolutely a positive. The other two guys, I already talked about Goldie and Belly. Belly has been okay. He's kind of mediocre this year, but Paul Goldschmidt has really turned back the clock, and he's playing like his old self. He's playing like Diamondbacks Paul Goldschmidt. I don't know if I'd go as far to say Diamondbacks Paul Goldschmidt, but he is still playing at a level we haven't seen from him in a couple years. He stepped up his game this season. And now with Giancarlo Stanton back, your lineup has so much depth, because right now you're going 1, Dominguez, 2, I like Goldschmidt at the 2. I think he gets on base a lot. He gets a ton of base hits. You need guys on base for Aaron Judge to drive in. Then you go Judge 3, and then in the 4 hole, you either use Ben Rice or Giancarlo Stanton, Ben Rice or Stanton, whoever's DH in that day. Then following that, you can have Anthony Volpe at the 6th, and then Austin Wells 7th. Third baseman Jazz Chisholm. Jazz Chisholm's got to be above Wells, I would say. So I'd say 6 Volpe, 7 Chisholm, 8 Wells, 9 LeMahieu. Yeah, that's what. So it's just recapping it. It's 1 Dominguez, 2 Goldschmidt, 3 Judge, 4 a platoon between Stanton and Ben Rice, and then 5 you go Anthony Volpe. I'm actually gonna switch Volpe and Chisholm. So Chisholm's gonna go 5. Then it's gonna go Volpe 6, Wells 7, LeMahieu 8. I missed somebody. I miss Cody Bellinger. Cody Bellinger is going to go 6th. Volpe's going to go 7th. Wells is going to go 8th. And LeMahieu is going to go 9th. And LeMahieu is giving you a good amount of offense. He has done more than he was expected to be. Once he came back from injury, I was like, oh, he's washed up, whatever. He'll be a wash. He'll hit for 3 weeks just because the Yankees need to see what they have in him. But then he'll fizzle out. He'll probably get DFA'd before the end of the season, or he'll not be playing. But no, LeMahieu's giving you enough offense to remain in the starting lineup. And now moving on to the bullpen, where the Yankees have had some struggle, but they've also had some pretty good success from guys they weren't expecting. Obviously, Devin Williams, he was one of the biggest moves of the offseason, if not the biggest. He pretty much single-handedly changed the beard policy. Now Yankees players are allowed to grow beards, but Devin Williams was just brutal to start this season. But now he's sort of earning the trust of Aaron Boone back. He's getting back into that circle of trust with each and every outing because he is pitching well. But the problem that Boone is facing now is, when do I pitch Williams? Because Williams has gotten booed at home, and it's by these younger 20-year-old, 25-year-old Yankee fans. I know I'm calling them younger. I'm 16-year-old saying that, but by these Yankee fans who, I don't want to call them casuals because I feel that's disrespectful, but they might not be tuned in every night. They might not be following every move, and that's okay. I'm not trying to disrespect any fans. I mean, you can be a fan at any single level, but those fans that are booing Devin Williams, yeah, it was okay for the first 4 or 5 weeks of the season, but now he's pitching well. He's turned his season around. So that argument is sort of invalid at this point because he's played well. But the problem is, if Aaron Boone pitches him at home, Williams is going to get booed. There's no way around that. It doesn't matter if it's right or wrong. It's something that's going to happen. But Luke Weaver's gone down. He's on the injured list. He's got a hamstring strain. Who knows how long that's going to take for him to come back. That's a nagging injury. That's one that could linger for a couple weeks and turn into an extra month on the IL if the Yankees are unlucky. Devin Williams is the clear option to step back into the closer role. But you also have guys like Fernando Cruz and Mark Leiter Jr. Jake Cousins has to have Tommy John, so he's out of that conversation. But Cruz and Leiter have been pretty solid for you this season, and those are both guys I would consider when you're at home. When you're on the road, I think it's pretty safe to just pitch Devin Williams. I would doubt he's going to get booed unless he's dominating, but that's the kind of boos you want to hear. Those are the boos that rile you up, that entice you to play better. At home, though, Devin Williams, it just seems like he didn't have it. There were too many occasions when he couldn't get out of situations that were layups. There's that game, I think it was against the Blue Jays in the middle of May, I want to say, where Devin Williams got an opportunity at home and he just blew it. The Yankees had a comfortable cushion, and Williams just couldn't get the job done. So for Aaron Boone, and now I'm going to get to some of the stuff I want to say about Booney, I don't think he deserves a lot of the criticism he gets. I think he's overhated, and a lot of it stems from the fact that the Yankees went to the American League Championship Series in the first year that he was manager, so that's what the fans are expecting. But no, you got to calm down a little bit. You got to come off of that. That's not an expectation. That's a bonus if it happens. I'm a Mets fan, right? I saw the 2015 NLCS. I was 5 years old. I was in kindergarten. I loved it. It was great. I ended up going to Game 4 of the World Series that season. And the only other time I've seen my Mets in the NLCS was last season in 2024. Yankee fans are too accustomed to seeing success. They don't deserve it like that. That's not how this sport works. That's not how sports works in general. You should have to wait for your appearances in championship series. It can't be an expectation. And I get it. That game on Monday where Anthony Volpe is swinging at the first pitch, yeah, it sucks that he's swinging at the first pitch. Some people don't want to see that. But a lot of the time, the first pitch is the best pitch you're going to see. That is preached from a young age. That is preached in high school. That is preached in college. And while that might not have been the situation, that pitch was a strike that Volpe swung at. It's not like Volpe chased a pitch and he swung at a pitch that was below the zone or way outside. That ball was a strike. So you can't place this on Aaron Boone. That game is on Anthony Volpe. And I'm not saying it's a problem that he swung at that. I'm just saying that it's not Boone's fault that he's swinging first pitch. He got a pitch that he liked and he took a hack at it. That's okay. That's baseball. Anthony Volpe is hitting .440 this season when he swings at the first pitch. And credit Evan Roberts at WFAN for this stat. He's hitting .440. That's an ungodly number, right? That means he's still failing 56% of the time. You can't expect a guy to be perfect, and I get it. When he's swinging at the first pitch, you don't like to see that. It makes the argument so easy to say, oh, he shouldn't have swung at that pitch that gave away the game. But no, if he likes a pitch he sees early in at bat, take advantage. A lot of the time, you're not going to see better pitches than that. And that is not on Aaron Boone. What I will place on Aaron Boone is some of the base running that's been an issue, some of the fundamentals that are issues. I don't think that the Yankees are perfect in situations where they need to push one run across, in situations where it's the 10th, 11th inning, and they just need to put a run on the board, advance a runner. But a lot of that, it goes on Aaron Boone. That's fundamentals. That's basic baseball. Those are the things I'll put on the manager, on the coaching staff. What I won't put on the manager is a player swinging and rolling over. That's baseball, Susan. It happens. I'm not worried about that. And for Anthony Volpe, yeah, you might want to take till strike one in that case, but I'm not even mad at it. I don't mind the pitch that he swung at. I don't like the result for Yankee fans, but it's not the worst decision in the world. And now getting to the last topic I'm going to talk about before I wrap up this episode, the starting rotation. There's some guys who the Yankees expected to be good, like Max Fried, like Clarke Schmidt, but they've both exceeded expectations. Max Fried is the best pitcher, I would say second best pitcher behind Tarik Skubal in the American League. He might win the Cy Young, I'm not sure yet. It's got to come, the picture's got to develop more. But Max Fried has stepped up and played the Garrett Cole role for the Yankees this season. When Cole went down with Tommy John in spring training, it was a punch to the guts of Yankee fans. It was a punch to the gut of the franchise. But Max Fried has stepped in, stepped up, and showed out for the Yankees. He has been huge for that team. He's been the stopper. He's been really the one guy outside of the Dodgers start that you can rely on. The one guy that you could say, oh, Fried's on the mound, it's going to be a good day. Garrett Cole is usually that guy. The Cole train, the stopper. It's been Max Fried right now. And the next guy, Carlos Rodon. Last year and the year prior, Rodon did not live up to his expectations. He was supposed to be one of the best starters for the Yankees, a huge investment in the offseason, huge free agent signing, and he didn't show up. He wore his emotions on his sleeve too much. He was too emotional. He didn't get the job done for the Yankees, but this year, he's been more flatlined. He hasn't let emotions get to him. He can give up a couple runs in one inning, and then he can come back in the next inning and be strong. He has the ability this year to not let one bad call or one call that is derailing an inning that's not going to knock him off his path. He's going to continue to pitch the way he's supposed to, and that is huge for the Yankees because if they can get Fried pitching in the Cole role and really Rodon pitching in the Luis Gil role, Luis Gil / what they expected Max Fried to be this year until Gil comes back, that is huge because the other guy that is on the mend is Luis Gil. He should be coming back just before the All-Star break. I think he's progressing at the pace he's supposed to be in his return. I forget what it is. It might be a lat injury. I don't know why I want to say that. That might have been Clarke Schmidt's injury. I can't put my finger on what Gil's exact injury is, but he's been out this whole season. He's supposed to make his debut before the All-Star break. So if the Yankees can have their top three pitchers be Max Fried, Carlos Rodon, Luis Gil, and then you have guys like Clarke Schmidt and Will Warren that you could move to the bullpen for the postseason, The Yankees are in a prime position to make some noise in the AL, especially because it's a weak American League. And the last two guys I'll talk about are Clarke Schmidt and Will Warren, because I think they're very comparable in what the Yankees expect out of them. They don't expect too much. Those are the guys that you're expecting to go 5 or 6 innings, they'll have 3 or 4 runs, they'll have a high 3, low 4 ERA. But no, these guys have both exceeded expectations. They've both pitched really well, and really in the absence of Garrett Cole this year, every single pitcher in this Yankees rotation has stepped up. A lot of pitchers in the bullpen have stepped up, and it's all contributed to the Yankees' hot start this year. They are on a roll right now. Well, I wouldn't say right now. They were on a roll, and now they had a rough weekend. They had a rough game on Monday. They'll look to get back at it. They can still salvage the series versus the Angels and win it. It's a 4-game series. They only lost the first game. They could still split or win that series. I mean, going to Boston and getting swept is tough. Losing both series in back-to-back weekends against your division rival Red Sox is tough, especially when one ends in a series sweep. But it's a 162-game season. You got to get up. You can't let that knock you off your track. And it doesn't matter. All 3 of those losses to the Red Sox count the same as 2 or 3 losses to the Rockies or to the Dodgers. It doesn't matter. They count the same as against any other team. So Yankee fans, stay even-keeled. Everything is not going terribly wrong. You're still good. You still have a comfortable lead in the AL East. The Rays are kind of playing really good baseball, and they kind of seem like one of those devil magic teams, but I wouldn't really be worried about that. You still have plenty comfortable lead. 4 games isn't going to throw you off your track that much, especially in the middle of June. All right, that's going to do it for the episode. If you enjoyed, please consider subscribing, following, commenting, downloading the episode, sharing it with a friend. I really appreciate it. Also, make sure to go check out all my socials linked in the description below. And leave me a voicemail at 848-305-8073 with your sports questions and takes. I would love to react to them in the next episode. And most importantly, make sure you keep it locked with the Sports Pod.